What is up, guys? It's 10vidman here, bringing you another battle. This is a UU game I had of a friend in, another Pokemon group. I usually don't give out names just because, and because I usually don't have YouTube channels or other stuff. Sorry if I sound a little raspy. I actually just woke up, so then I wanted to get this narrated before I left later today. So, without further ado, actually, before I do that, I will go over the teams a little bit. We actually both have Aerodactyl, which didn't really surprise me too much, but, I got a Rapid Spinner on my Hitmontop, I have my Victini, and I brought, as opposed to my old UU team, I actually brought, some new stuff like Slowbro and Zapdos and Ambipom, so, but he's got a nasty Milotic in there. I'm just like, ugh, I hate Milotic so much, and then he's got probably a Scarf Flygon, so, I really don't know what much to expect, so, but without further ado, let's get this started. And he actually breaks my Aerodactyl to lead, so he actually leads off of his Milotic, and I go into my Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is usually used as a suicide lead, just so he can get up the Stealth Rocks or Taunt, so other Pokemon don't get their Stealth Rocks up or are able to set up in any way, because Aerodactyl is so fast. So I set up the Stealth Rocks, he goes for Scald, and, Scald, of course, being super effective, even from a bulky Milotic, it's going to do a ton to the frail Aerodactyl, and he unfortunately gets the burn. So, that sucks, but, Burn does not take me out at this point, so he's going to do a little bit of damage, even though Rocks isn't going to do much, being stabbed and all, I'm just burned, so decided to be a tick and just recover off any damage I dealt, so, which is perfectly fine, it's just, whatever, but, I just started to burn, so I'm quickly down 6-5, but that's the point of Aerodactyl. You want to get those Stealth Rocks up, you want to taunt other Pokemon, you want to just Aerodactyl is meant to screw up other people's plans with getting your own Stealth Rocks up. So I go into my Zapdos here, and of course he doesn't want to take a Thunderbolt, so he switches out, he goes into his Flygon, which, I think is Scarfed. So go for the safe Thunderbolt, don't want to overprotect after he gets hit by Stealth Rocks. Go for the T-Bolt, of course, give me him being a Ground Dragon. So I switch out, predicting maybe a Stone Edge or something, so I go into my Hitmontop, predicting the Stone Edge or U-turn, knowing I can resist that extremely well. I intimidate to further lower that attack, and he does end up going for U-turn, so pretty good play getting him switch initiative to hopefully something better to counter my Hitmontop with. So switches out, and goes into his Leafeon. So what his plan, I think, was to hit a Grass Whistle and then start setting up Sword Stances, and I, of course, did not want this happening. I wanted this to happen as late as possible, so I go back into Hitmontop, not realizing at this point he has Grass Whistle. So he does go for Grass Whistle after my pressure activates, and unfortunately he misses, which is why I do not rely on Grass Whistle or Sing, but that's another story. But he switches out here, not wanting to take a Heat Wave, but I go for he switches into his Aerodactyl. I go for the HP Ice here, just because, Leafeon's weak against it. Flygon, which I thought would switch in, was weak to it. That's what I was hoping would switch in. But he actually brings in his own Aerodactyl here, so I go for the Hidden Power Ice. And, of course, that's a Life Orb boosted hit, and that is going to finish off this Aerodactyl with pretty much no problem. So down goes his own Aerodactyl, so he doesn't get his Stealth Rocks up, which is great. So I take some Life Orb recoil, and now he goes into a Flygon again. So the way he brings it in, I'm safe to assume he's Scarfed, so I've got to switch out. And I again go into my Hitmontop, just wanting to sponge those physical hits a little bit better than, anything else can. But, he actually predicts my switch, and he actually goes for the Earthquake, so really nice play on his part. So, Hitmontop gets, pretty wrecked by this Earthquake. I mean, it doesn't do too much, but, I want Hitmontop at a pretty decent health for the entire game, so, he's my Rapid Spinner and all, so, he now goes back into his Leafeon here as I double switch, because I don't want him to keep Earthquaking me. I double switch my Hitmontop out here, predicting this Leafeon to come back in, and I go back into my Zapdos, wanting to force that out. So I bring that in. I believe I again go for the HP Ice here, predicting either that or Flygon to come in, but he makes another great play, and he goes into his Milotic. So that is able to, of course, able to tank a HP Ice with no problem at all. So, I'm in kind of a tight situation. I mean, I'm either over-predicting too much, or he's just really outplaying my predictions, which is, great, good for him. I tend to overprotect a little too much when I battle. I don't know why, but it just happens, and especially when against people that don't predict much, it really puts me in a bad situation. But he goes back into Flygon here. I think I just go for the Thunderbolt just because I want my Lodic dead, and of course he's ground. So getting nowhere of Zapdos right now. But I switched that out, go into my Slowbro this time. The Slowbro is another great physical wall. As he double switches and he goes into his Frostlass, which is a pretty good switch to my Hitmontop. So pretty good play, and he gets hit by Stealth Rocks. He actually predicts me to switch here and goes for the Thunder Wave, but I just stay in. I want this Frostlass dead, so he T-Waves, and Slowbro is paralyzed, which doesn't really matter too much. Slowbro is very slow anyway, so I just go for the safe Scald, hoping to get the burn for residual damage. I could have gone for Psychic. I don't think Psychic would have killed, just the way it might have killed. I don't think it would have, though. It's only 10 base power more with Psychic, so I scout out, I predicted his Destiny Bond, so I actually set up a Calm Mind here, and, I don't want to lose my Slowbro just because of a Destiny Bond, so I set up a rather useless Calm Mind, because I'm just going to switch out next turn, so I switch out Slowbro, and I just think I go back into Hitmontop here. Yep, I do, and because Hitmontop is the only Pokemon that I have that can really set up a reliable status condition. I have Toxic on this thing, so if he's going to be pulling, those Destiny Bond shenanigans, I want to Toxic it and have it die to that as opposed to an actual attack. As he sets up a layer of spikes, which is a good play. So he's finally getting some entry hazards up, and he actually decides to T-Wave Hitmontop, too, which is, interesting. So, I'm sorry for my raspy voice. But yeah, after he T-Waves me, I just exchange him with a status of Toxic. And I believe I try to go for Sucker Punch here. I think he wants to attack me at some point. So I try to go for the Sucker Punch, and I get full paralyzed. I get fully paralyzed, and then he did attack me. He used Ice Beam, and I was like, oh, I could have had this dead a long time ago then, and I wouldn't have had any extra damage on me, but nope, we had to get the full para, so I love you too, game, love you too. So, and, again, I predict him to attack me, but he plays it smart, predicts that, and goes for another layer of spikes, so that's a really nice play. It's a good last-ditch effort before he dies to poison. Excuse me. And as process goes down, and that's right now it goes into his Venomoth. I'm scared of Venomoth just because it's a set-up sweeper. It can set up Quiver Dances. It can baton pass to other sweepers. So Venomoth, it doesn't look like much of a threat, but thanks to Quiver Dance, it's become so much of a threat this generation. But I predict this Quiver Dance. I go into my Victini, knowing my Scarf Victini can most likely outspeed it, because I'm Adamant Scarf. I don't think he's at a lower base speed than I am, so I think I can outspeed it. So he reveals me his Black Sludge, which is a good item to have on it. I could have gone for V-Create, I could have gone for Fusion Bolt, but I went for the Zen Headbutt, because either his Milotic or his Flygon could have come in here. So I go for the safe Zen Headbutt. It gives it stab. It will inflict decent damage whatever comes in, and would have killed Venomoth in addition. So pretty good play on my part, just getting this Milotic slightly more damaged. So but at this point, I don't want to take a Scald, and Victini's locked in this Zen Headbutt, and I know I can't do much of it. So I just go into Hitmontop here, hoping Rapid spins some spikes away, and he just, after I get the Intimidate off, he does go for the Scald, trying to do some damage to Victini. And, Scald, it's I don't think it's a decent special attack, but it's not going to KO Hitmontop from that range. And, he's now over half health thanks to, his little leftovers. And he gets a little greedy with his own health. He goes for the Recover here, which, I was hoping for. He would be a little greedy, trying to get some more health, so I can have a free chance to Rapid Spin, and I luckily do not get paralyzed, and I am able to Rapid Spin those spikes away, which is great. So my Pokemon have to be worried about spikes anymore. So, Zapdos, of course, is immune to spikes anyway, being a flying type, but doesn't really matter. So I get some more leftovers recovery. I believe here, try to go for the Sucker Punch. I get full paralyzed yet again. So he goes for the Scald. I know I can most likely live at least another one. And I do with 17 HP, which is great. And get more leftovers. And the Hex Gods decided to redeem themselves a little bit. I'm able to get to the Sucker Punch, and it actually turns out being a crit. So, it didn't really matter too much. It might have, but I don't. It really, if it did, it didn't matter by too much. But of course, down goes my Hitmontop to a Scald, and get some more leftovers recovery. And this is actually where the battle really turns, just because my Zapdos is a pro. So. This is actually as a Light Orb Zapdos, so Thunderbolt, Heat Wave, Hidden Power, Ice, and Roost. And he switches out his Milotic here, goes into his Flygon, but he does the Thunderbolt. Of course, he's going to predict correctly, because I want Milotic dead, so... But at this point, I'm like, he probably doesn't have Stone Edge, so I'm actually going to go for the Hidden Power, and I turned out to be faster, and I'm like, what? How am I faster? How am I faster? And he tells me after the game he was banded the entire time. So I facepalm, and, I could have had this game a little bit earlier, but, so Flygon was banded. Oh, God. Why do you have a banded Flygon? They're all scarfed. He goes into his Venomoth, and I just, obliterate that of a Heat Wave. It's pretty much GG at this point, because Zapdos is just going to clean up every little remaining member of the team. So down goes Venomoth. And he now goes into his Leafeon. I could have been I was a little risky going for the Heat Wave here. I could have gone for HP Ice. I think HP Ice would have KO'd it from that range. Leafeon does not have a too impressive special defense. Go for that Heat Wave again. Luckily it hits, and of course Leafeon is not going to take it. It goes down to that. And of course this last being the Milotic that I've loved this entire match. Because Milotic is just such a bulky Pokemon, and kind of surprised it's still on UU, but there's so many Pokemon that can probably do it a little bit better than OU, so go for that Stab T-Bolt, and from that range, this Thunderbolt will end up killing this Milotic. So folks, that will be the game. So I apologize yet again for my voice and my little cough earlier in the narration, but that's okay. I wanted to get this match narrated because, I want some more uploads. So that was the game. It was a pretty fun UU game. I actually never used Ambipom in the game. Ambipom, it's a Life Orb set of fake out U-turn. It's really annoying. So if any of my other Pokemon went down, Ambipom would have probably been a dangerous Pokemon to face. So, but, that's the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and have a good day, guys.